Okay, I guess we're going to be firing up the email expert show here. Um, Once again, I'm using my desktop PC, so it should be interesting to see how you can actually turn this on and off again. Have to play with that. But anyway, so quick little update. I really like the idea that this show can be a little bit live and playful. Christmas just wrapped up, so in terms of myself and what's going on in my world, we just wrapped up a whole bunch of Boxing Day sales. We wrapped up a bunch of, so these are email campaigns, right? So there was the, obviously in November, we had the Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. And then all through Christmas, there was the Christmas specials leading right up till most people stopped sending promos on the 24th. Although, funny enough, I did see one client do about 7 or so grand in sales on the 24th, so it's not a dead day. But Boxing Day in Canada was a very profitable day for a number of my clients. So, anyways, I talked about content calendar in a previous one and went over sort of an overview of that, so you can check that video out. I don't want to redo that. Today, I don't have um, a lot more than a whole bunch of updates for you. But I think one thing that a lot of people do at this time of year is they start looking back on what's working and what's not working, and I think that's really smart. I mean, I don't believe in resolutions, New Year's resolutions. I do believe in changes. I think it's important that we all, throughout the year, even at the end of a month, at the end of every 2 or 3 months, sit back and look back on what's working, what's not working. But don't wait a year. Don't uh, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with using the end of the year, but I don't think you have to wait till then to establish a new routine. Um, was it about 4 months? No, 4 or 5 weeks ago, I decided I was going to cut out sugar and salt for a while and see how that went. And I certainly didn't wait for New Year's to play with that kind of stuff, and I hope you don't either. But it is a good time to look at your stats and look at your numbers. And I kind of think what would be really cool to do today is discuss some of the things I'm blown away by that have been working this year and some of the things that aren't. So, hands down, I know this is a broken record thing for me, but I think you'll continue to see value in it. That stories still are the most powerful weapon we have, and really resource, not just weapon. Um, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a series in the next little while here of videos describing different ways to tell impactful stories. It's one of my favorite passionate topics, but it's also like if you ever get stuck writing wise, maybe you say to yourself, well, I'm not a good storyteller, or I just want to make money. I don't care about stories. Um, but there are different story formulas that work to get sales, for one thing. They also just they start a movie in the mind of the prospect, and they kind of let the prospect's brain watch a little mini movie that you've recorded, kind of thing. So I think that's pretty powerful to be able to do that, and I think that trying different ones can get you different results, and that can be really powerful to do. So. Um, in terms of content strategy, nothing really beats it. So anyway, so one thing I'm blown away by in a number of campaigns I've looked at from clients who've sent out letters, um, advertorial type pieces, and actual, and obviously just the standard catalog style e-commerce emails. And time again, the stories, even if they don't have a call to action, hands down slaughter the daylights out of, a normal marketer email. So, um, but um, now I guess the big question is, okay, well, what kind of stories, right? And the same thing for blog posts, by the way. Hands down, the neat thing is with all the clickbait you see these days, you can totally tell that people get sucked into story after story after story, um, with varying degrees of truth to those stories. But anyway, um, meaning everything from your regular news sources like CNN, BBC, etc., down to the random blogs, the Upworthies, or wherever these things come from that have who knows how true the information is. Time and time again, it doesn't matter how what the content is. You can talk about the same topic over and over again if you're using stories. So um, yeah, so that's just kind of I wanted to touch on that piece. Um, Today I was talking with a client, and one of the things we discussed was um, the age-old story formula of we can't stay here, we have to go here. And I told him about um, Bill Hybels at Willow Creek Church in Chicago, and how they had this situation where um, they wanted to build a new church. And so obviously Bill just thought, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to march out on stage in front of the audience of 3,000 or 4,000 people. I'm going to present the model of the new church, how much it's going to cost. It's going to be over $1 million, and I'm going to whip it off the cover on the architectural example, and everybody's going to be in love with it, and then we'll get on with the message. Well, shockingly, people were not actually happy to see it. They were upset that it was going to cost so much money. They were upset that he would um, invest that much money in this thing, etc., etc. They were not pleased, basically. And so Bill went to his trusted advisors, and some of these advisors are some of the biggest business companies, business owners and executive coaches, very, very successful people. Very lucky man to have such an incredible resource at his fingertips. And long story short is that looking at uh, all these resources, everybody said, well, you just can't sell anybody anything by just waving the shiny object in their face and saying, check this out, you really want this. And I was blown away, because we all think to ourselves, if we brought the most amazing thing on earth to our client and said, check this out, isn't this cool? This is an amazing funky thing. It does 4K. It's only in this tiny little box. Like, wouldn't they want it? And the truth is, no, most of the time that's not how things work. So he was told, first what you want to do is present the current pains and then describe the product. So he went back to the audience and he said, okay, I want to talk about the fact that um, right now, every morning, every church service, there are young women with brand new babies who have to go into the hallway and no longer hear the message and no longer be able to do anything because their baby's crying. And we've got youth that have to go off site because there's no place to play any games or basketball. We have old people that hate the new age music. We have new or young people who hate the hymnals. We've got all these problems and problem, and he just kept listing out all the pains. And I said, but if um, if we had the new building, we would have the basketball courts for the youth. We would have the little room off to the side for the mother to run to where she could still hear the message but comfort her baby. We would have the room for the youth service and the elderly service, blah, blah, blah. And he listed all the solutions. And of course, the congregation liked it. They were happy to spend the $1 million on the new building, and the rest is history. But it really teaches us that formula is important for selling anything to anybody, really. So if you have to sell something to somebody today, stop for a second and ask yourself if you've really told them what's going to happen if they don't make the change, if they don't do something different. Um, One company I was working with, their new customer welcome email actually tells a story of the owner's dog dying of cancer and encourages dog owners to take certain steps to prevent that from happening to theirs. And so, um, in all businesses, we have to ask ourselves, what is the biggest danger of someone not following our advice? And what can we do to help stop that from happening? What information do they need to know to prevent this from happening to them so they don't ever have to worry about that? And obviously, how does our product solve that, and blah, blah, blah. But these are story formulas, that can't stay here and have to go there. That's one thing. There's a number of story formats I want to dig into, though. Um, but that's one that sticks out that's kind of coming up right now. So 2017 year in review has been, you know, right now one of the biggest significant changes is going to happen in email marketing. It's going to happen in digital advertising. Right now, some of our biggest revenue comes from managing people's online advertising, paid ads. And another one of our revenue streams is coming from managing email. And a lot of things in 2018 and 2020 are going to be algorithmically done. You cannot change the fact that at McDonald's you can now order your food with a computer. You don't have to talk to a human. And lots of things are going automated. And while it's scary, it's also awesome because we are getting, better service in a lot of cases when you can deliver your groceries instead of shopping for them. You know, um, when you can open up a piece of software and it automatically has a rough idea of what you want to do instead of having to program it and learn it. I mean, if you ever saw the first version of Microsoft Works or Word, where you actually had to memorize all these different keystrokes just to bold something or move a sentence, indent it, or whatever, what we have today is already leaps and bounds better. But one thing, if you're wondering, whether you're a marketer, whether you're a business owner, whether you're worried about, eBay and Amazon taking over all of the online revenue, one thing that is never going to be able to be scaled at mass and really taken over by robots is that um, consumers are what operate businesses. Consumers must have money to spend on product. And secondly, consumers, no matter how stone cold they are, no matter how logical they are, um, buy for emotional reasons and get captured by stories. If you look at the box office and you look at how many millions are spent on watching entertainment, various forms of entertainment, P.T. Barnum, I could actually talk about that too because uh, my lovely friend there, Allison, went to the movie and the new movie about P.T. and I was already reading a book about him. But his big thing was that as long as there's people out there to entertain, they're already being entertained anyways. They'll buy this product, aka in his case the circus. But the point is, people crave entertainment. They crave stories. They don't crave half the products as badly as they crave a really good story. And stories can be told a number of different ways, and they can have a number of different frameworks. But the fact is that that isn't going to change the fact that when it comes to email marketing, hands down, if you can become a really good storyteller, or if you can be lousy at it but follow a really solid framework that's been proven, you really are going to be unstoppable. And no algorithm, no new technology can really replace a great storyteller. So, again, 2017 review here. I mean, I could dive into all the new technologies that have come out in terms of spam capturing, um, which there has been some. The algorithm shifts in the search engines. We could be talking about all the things that are being done right now to make advertising more relevant, more difficult for spammers to get into, and talk about how um, the different ways people are trying to get people's attention. But at the end of the day, one thing's kind of standing strong and still working. Um, and right now, I mean, a lot of things, like I said, are being replaced by automations, but that is key. Um, so, um, what else has happened in 2017 that I've noticed right now? Um, Other than the constantly algorithmic shifting. The other thing that's really wild that's happening is that software and tools are just getting more and more advanced. Google's Data Studio that can make reporting dashboards on the fly, super easy. Um, all kinds of organization tools like Todoist, which can easily replace Basecamp. Like today, software is getting cheaper and cheaper. Manpower to produce these things, the amount of people who know how to produce these things is getting more and more, um, uh, which is constantly lowering in value. Today, um, a visionary stands to make far more money than a coder. But anyway, I digress. I don't really have anything else to offer today. I wanted to start off by just kind of saying, hey, this is some neat things that we're seeing on the horizon, and also just kind of keep the flow of putting stuff up on the channel and keeping things rolling on the email show. As you can see, things got a little crazy in the office. I haven't even tidied up from the new year. Sorry, from the holidays, where this became a wrapping zone for presents. But um, yeah, I hope you're having a great week. If you have any questions, as usual, you can always put those in the comments or join the private Facebook group if you're in our email list. Remember to check out www.answerswanted.com/YouTube. I do have that fixed now. There was a bug that we figured out. I will be sending exclusive resources that way. And when I say exclusive, I mean we've got some neat stuff coming down the path here. We've realized that a lot of the things that we do for customers could be turned into products. So I'm just going to be recording a number of screen share videos where, it's not theory. It's not, hey, it would be nice if we just did this. It's going to be literal, real, live, actual data-driven stuff, proven stuff. So I'm looking forward to revealing all that of different ways that you can see actual converting campaigns. And strategies. So other than that, I will talk to you soon.